start analyzing them, then no dream is a bad dream.
Wow.
All dreams are good dreams. Welcome, dearies. Welcome to this podcast, which is going to be by Zoom this time. And we're going to be talking about dreams. And I love this subject. I've always been fascinated by this. I wanted to start off with showing this little cauldron because we always sort of start with. I don't have a lid for it though.
Oh, that's okay. You just put your hand over it when we talk.
Yeah, I was taking the lid off the cauldron to start this episode, but it's a little Irish cauldron that I found at an antique store on the weekend, and it was made in Ireland, and I just thought it was the cutest thing, and it was just $10. So we're starting the episode with the cauldron being opened, and my name's Trish, and
I'm Susie.
we've been wanting to talk about this for a little while, and so Susie, what do dreams mean to you? Like, are they something that you feel they all have significance? Like every dream?
I think that sometimes my dreams are very much influenced by the television that I watch or something that happened during my day. So I don't always feel that there's like a message or, a spiritual connection. But I love my dreams. I love waking up and trying to remember them. And I know that you've interpreted some dreams for me, which have been really special. So I'm very connected to my dreams, although sometimes I do have nightmares.
Right.
Not so much fun. But yeah, it's always been something that's fascinated me as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've always been such a vivid dreamer, and when I was younger, I didn't always understand what they meant. Like, why was I having repetitive dreams? I remember my very first dream that I remembered. I still remember it. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I think I was probably 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
And I dreamt that I was in this basement. I think I was in a basement, and it was really dark in there. And in this basement were all these creepy dolls. Okay.
That's a nightmare.
Yeah, there were all these creepy dolls, but there was one in particular. So there were all these kind of creepy dolls on the periphery of this dark room, like it was barely light enough to see. And in the center of the room, so I'm looking around, and then I'm drawn to the center of the room, and there's this easel, and there's a painting of that my mother painted. I knew that she painted it. It's not an actual real painting that she painted, but in my dream, I knew that it was her art. And holding it were creepy doll hands behind the easel. And I woke up as a kid, right? And it was it was like a nightmare, but I still remember that dream.
Wow.
And what's interesting is I didn't know that my mother was really a painter back like that young, because mom did do paintings and stuff, but I didn't really know that then.
Wow.
Yeah. And so anyway, yeah, so that was one of my very first dreams.
Wow.
that I remember. Yeah.
Yikes.
So,
that's creepy.
which is interesting because it is rare that I don't have what would be considered nightmares. Like, those are my dreams all the time.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember maybe a handful of actually good dreams. Yeah, everything else is always something, nightmarish or confrontational or stressful or something. Yeah.
Yikes.
Do you get like good dreams?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Um, I dream about people who have passed. Like I dream that mom or dad are with me, and part of me knows that they've passed, and then part of me is happy to see them.
Yeah.
So I have those, and I have dreams about rescuing my cats. Like, gotta save my cats. It's not like a nightmare. It's just I have a lot of dreams where I'm saving people and saving animals and stuff.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have a very rich and vivid dream life. Like it's almost like I want to hang out there. But when I do have nightmares, they can be quite disturbing. Um, do you think that some dreams are from past lives, like past
Uh,
life experiences?
yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there's so much to talk about when it comes to dreams. Because but I'll answer what I think. I definitely feel like past lives. Um, and it's funny because when I'm awake, I'm never quite sure that whether or not I believe in past lives. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I when I think that, I go back to these two dreams, and recently I had a third dream, and I had a dream once where I was this Southern belle,
Ooh.
and I was having an affair with a Native American.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
Scandalous.
yeah, and my father, who happened to be a general or something in the Civil War or whatever it was, I don't know. Um, he caught us, and he basically threatened his this man's life, right? And I remember saying to him, if he's good enough to fight in your war, he's good enough to be with your daughter.
Wow, very rebellious of you. I love it.
Yeah, and then I woke up, and it was like it was more than just a dream. I hadn't watched anything or read anything. That to me felt like very clearly a past life thing. Like it
Mm,
just like to me it was like that was one of my incarnations. You know what I mean?
mm. I can totally see you doing that. You're such a rebel. I love it. Wow.
Have
Hmm.
you had a past life dream?
I think so. Yeah. I think maybe some of my fear-based dreams come from past life experiences. Um, I can't really think of any like good ones at the moment, but I used to have a lot of war dreams when I was younger,
Okay.
and they were like really vivid. And I remember when Saving Private Ryan came out, that movie,
Hmm.
and it was just like my dreams.
Hmm.
Like that movie was so realistic and so well done,
Yeah.
and it just I could never watch it again. I think I probably watched it like this, but yeah, so it kind of makes me wonder, if I had been through experiences like that. Yeah, so and I have like you, I have a lot of repetitive dreams or what I call theme dreams.
Right.
Oh, the elevator one is horrendous.
Oh, I get those too. What's your elevator dreams?
It actually goes sideways.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Good. Good.
Sideways.
Sideways, and it goes up and down, and
Yeah.
it opens up, and I don't know where I am. I'm on the wrong floor.
Yeah.
I have a lot of dreams where I get lost because that is actually my life. But yeah, I can't find my way back to where I'm going. But yeah, when I'm inside of them and they go sideways, it's so gross. What is that about?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like okay because that's a reoccurring dream for me too. And when I finally had the wherewithal to actually think about it, Do you know what I mean? Like before it was just like, what the hell? Why do I keep having these stupid elevator dreams? And but then I thought, like, when you get in an elevator, you have a destination, right? You're going somewheres, and you're going usually upwards, right? I mean, you have to come down eventually, but I find in my dreams the goal is to go up, right? But I'm going sideways or I'm going backwards or
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah, or dropping, right? And so then I realized that it's basically telling me that I'm being like sidetracked too much. I'm allowing myself to be sidetracked, or things are pulling me backwards in my life, or you know what I mean? Like
yeah, I feel like I'm not in control.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not in control. Um, but I just feel like it's like a message saying that you're right now right now you have to take a little tangent or a little side path to get to whatever goal you're going towards. So it may feel like you're not getting there, but you have to go this way for whatever reason. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what, but yeah, at the time, but now when I have those dreams, I'm like, oh fuck, here we go again. Now I don't. Now I just in my dream I know that it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? That I'm just going sideways, and it's not a big deal, right?
But then I don't like elevators in real life, right?
I don't either.
I don't like escalators much either. And
Oh, really? Oh,
no, especially when they don't move, when they're stuck and then you have to walk the
oh,
escalator.
that's weird. Yeah,
So as someone who has vertigo, um, even the stairs can be bad. So I try
yeah.
to avoid it. But the other theme dream that I have is a space gets smaller and smaller.
Oh,
So I'm trying to get out, and the corridor is narrow and narrow. And then I come to a window and I have to open it and open it and open it. And so every time I open it, it gets smaller and smaller.
yeah.
And so I've had that so many times that now when I get to that point, I'm just like, no. And I stop the dream because it's like, it's so frustrating to me because like it triggers claustrophobia
Yeah.
and like you're frustrated because you just keep opening this space and you just are not getting anywhere. And one time it was really cool. I actually did get through the window and there was a white dolphin.
Oh,
I met this white dolphin and I thought, oh my gosh, like I finally elevated, like I've reached nirvana or whatever it is you're supposed to do when you have all these trials and tribulations. Right? I thought, oh, white dolphins come to rescue me. But then I continued to have those still the frustration dreams after that. And then the work frustration dreams. Have you ever had those?
oh, all the time. Yeah, yeah.
Those also I have to stop. Are you able to stop your dreams when you get to a certain point?
uh, Sometimes, but a lot of times, I think I've trained myself to just go with it, no matter
Mm,
how scary it is or
yeah.
how frustrating. Because I have a lot of violent dreams too, like a
Mm,
lot of violence in my dreams, and so I guess I've learned to because I know that there's messages. To me, I feel all dreams have messages, even if they feel somewhat mundane. I still
mm,
feel like there's messages in them. So
mm,
I don't want to stop my dreams. I want to have it go to its natural end, I guess. Um, so yeah, but there has been a couple times where because I would have a reoccurring dream that a man would break into the house like while I was sleeping or while we were sleeping, like and
mm,
with not good intentions, right? So yeah, so I would have this reoccurring dream that, the I would hear somebody creeping around the house, right? Some man,
mm.
and I would see him sort of peeking into the bedroom at night when all the lights are off and stuff. So I kept having that as a recurring dream, and obviously there's lack of trust in that. There's lack of security. There's all those
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, I was having a lot of my like health issues, like my nerve pains and my um, a lot of pain, basically. And one morning, I woke up after having a dream like that, and I thought, you know what? I wonder if the man that's intruding is an illness,
Mm.
that he represents illness or a disorder, a disease, or something. And when I started seeing that dream that way,
Mm.
it changed the dynamic, and
Wow.
it was also at a point where I was starting to heal too. You know what I mean? So once I made that realization, my
Mm.
pain started getting less, and because I viewed my pain as that intruder, and I had control. I could just say, you know what, get out, just get out of my life, get
Wow.
out of my body, kind of thing. So
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's
So
very cool.
yeah, so that's how I interpreted that. But I also knew that it was an insecurity because, I mean, I had these dreams a long time, even with Tom, but mostly with Katie. So I knew that, oh, two women are very vulnerable. So there's that vulnerability that I have, um, insecurities about. So I knew it was also representing that. But once I
Mm-hmm.
interpreted it all that, I haven't really had any lately like that. So,
Wow.
and that's what I find. Once you interpret it, but once you know what the meaning is, it's like your brain says, you got it. It only took you 20 years, but you got it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm going to think about that in relation to some of my frustration slash, recurring theme dreams. Mm. Something else that really interests me about dreams is, kind of the spilling over into reality. Like sometimes, like I'll wake up and that dream stays with me, and I feel like half dreamy,
Yeah. Yeah.
and uh, you kind of wonder like where like how your mind works, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
when you're in REM sleep or whatever, and you should not be conscious, right? But then when you're awake and you still kind of feel that pull, like I feel a pull,
Yeah.
almost like connecting to the other side or the fairy realm or something, like
Yeah.
something is pulling me back into that. Have you
Yeah.
ever felt like that?
Oh, definitely. I've definitely felt like I was in a space, especially like when I've dreamt that Alicia has come to see me in dreams. Um, and then I'll wake up and I'll still feel like that, her presence, and I'll still feel like the grief that
Mm-hmm.
went goes along with it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, no, it's definitely that there's a feeling like you can't describe it because it's like you are walking the hedge, between
Mm-hmm.
reality and dream space, and that can sit with you for a long time, I find.
It can, like sometimes when my pain was so acute, I would feel kind of that as well, like almost like you could just cross over.
Yes.
Like the pain was just that knife edge pain, and you're like, that would be such sweet relief,
Hmm.
because there's that fine line between pain and ecstasy, right?
Yeah.
Like, like a lot of the saints, or a lot of like really holy people, like, they scourge themselves, or
Yeah.
and it's just they experience the pain, and they so they can relate to Christ suffering on the cross or whatever. But I know what that edge of pain is like, where you're just like, I could just let myself go.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. And I have felt that way. One time I went to the Parsboro Rock Show and I bought a Herkimer diamond and we did a little wire wrapping class. So I wire wrapped it and I wore it as a pendant. And then we went for a walk on a beach and it was a hot, hot day and the sun was beating down. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was leaving my body. So I was conscious that I was walking along the beach with Jamie, but there was a part of me that was like, it'd be so easy just to let go and go off into this fairy world. So that, and I'm going to lead into another story. I'm running on here, but um, one of my favorite episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is one of my all-time favorite shows, was the one where she wakes up and she's in a mental institute, and the doctors are trying to get her to come back to reality, where her Buffy the Vampire Slayer is fantasy. So you wonder, is it all just fantasy? Is she really in this mental institute in this room? And so which one did she chose to leave her parents. Her parents wanted her to stay and get better, but she preferred to be in the Buffyverse, in
Right.
that universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's so interesting to me, because sometimes I want to stay in my dream world, right?
Yeah.
That place where I don't feel pain, or where I feel like really floaty and, you know, part of the mycelium network or something. I don't know what it is, but it's just so interesting to me, like that line between, like, is there a portal? Is there, another side? Kind of, where does that fantasy and reality or imagination, what's that in between spot? It's kind of neat.
When you were talking about, you know, that in between spot, I mean, that's where like shamans go. That's where you go when you're journeying, right?
Yeah.
Um, I just feel like when you're dreaming, your brain, unless it's my brain, which is constantly like stressed out and overthinking, but when you're sleeping, your brain is usually allowed to let go more, so it allows you to go into, I believe, it does go into other realms. It's not always other realms. I think a lot of dreams are um, psychological um, workings in your brain trying to figure out what the hell's going
Mm-hmm.
on in my life, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
do believe that a lot of dreams are those, but I also believe that quite a few, and the more you allow it to happen, um, are going into a spiritual state, into a spiritual realm, into another realm, like astral traveling or time
Mm-hmm.
traveling, or
Mm-hmm.
can be, yeah.
People who do ketamine therapy, or mushroom journeys, and hallucinogenics that way, um, also talk about reaching that state as well. I know a friend of mine, she's talked to God, she's talked to her, loved ones that have passed away, and she feels like she's been to heaven, like
Right.
literally,
Yeah.
through, these therapies. And, is it your brain, or is it, you're actually accessing other planes of existence? I don't know. I'm kind of scared to do it, but I just love hearing her stories about, the things that she sees and experiences. And she's actually brought herself back to health through doing those kinds of journeys.
Mhm.
So, she wasn't able to walk. She wasn't, her mobility was like terrible. Her health was terrible. And by accessing that healing on those levels, and I think also it just allows you to know that there's more than just this, ickiness we have in our bodies here on this physical plane, that, you can access other channels. It's like
Yeah.
flicking the TV switch, right?
Yeah. Oh, I truly believe that. Um, I remember one time when I was with Tom, um, we, we woke up in the morning and he said that he had a dream that at the time we had a Honda Civic. He had a dream that our Honda Civic was stolen. And I was like, and he said, and you were there and you were looking, or I can't remember what he said, but anyway, and I was like, I had that exact same dream. I had the exact same dream. I had the dream that I had closed the hatch of the Honda Civic, gone into the house, and then thought, oh, I forgot something. And I remember saying to Tom, I forgot something. I have to go back out. And when I went out, um, I was like, the car is gone. And that's where he picked up the dream. He picked up the dream from that point where he dreamt that the car was stolen and that I was there saying, like, the car is gone.
Oh my,
And when we woke up and we told each other that, it was like, oh my God, that is so weird. Like we dreamt the same, like we were in the same space. Yeah.
I love that. That's really cool.
I mean, it was such a stupid dream, but yet,
But your car was not stolen.
no, the car wasn't stolen. You know, no, it
It
was
wasn't a prophetic dream. It was just
no, it wasn't prophetic. Or and the only thing that um, was so good about it was that it made me realize that yes, dreams are portals. Like and it's not like we had any control over it, but we met in a space
mm.
somewheres. We met in this space.
I've heard of people saying that they had the same dream as somebody else, like thousands of miles away or whatever. I've heard stories about that, like people connecting through dreams or being able to communicate through dreams.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's got to be something to it, like all these stories can't just be made up.
No, definitely not. Like just I just love dreams so much that um, I cannot, and I'm very much a person that analyzes shit to death, right? But I cannot just logically say it's just my brain doing whatever it is because there's been so much stuff that um, is beyond this physical world, this
Mm-hmm.
mundane world, like that dream with Tom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like when I dream of Alicia, sometimes I know it's my brain processing things, but sometimes I know that she came to me.
Yeah.
Like I know that, and nobody could possibly ever convince me otherwise because she's come and she's told me she's okay, she's happy. Those things like that was at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I would ask her, like, tell me where you are, tell me what it's like. And she would just smile and say, I can't, I'm not allowed to. Right.
Oh,
And I'd be like, oh my God.
no, I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know. But she said she wasn't allowed. She would just kind of have her little smirk and say, I'm not allowed.
Oh,
But, but I knew that those were actual visits as opposed to just me dreaming.
yeah.
Oh, here's Vinny.
He likes to be where the action is. I think I told you that my sister had, oh my goodness, had dreamt about her husband who had passed away, and that he came to tell her that he was okay, and for her not to be sad. And she's like, tell me about where you are. And he said, you wouldn't understand. Like our
Yeah,
brain couldn't grasp. Like he just couldn't explain it.
yeah,
But you know. you just wouldn't understand. But
Yeah.
she was so comforted by that, and of course she couldn't wait to tell me. She's like,
Yeah.
"You think that that was really him?" And I'm like, "Of course it was."
Yeah.
Or even if it, if it was just a dream, did it make you happy? And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, then, you know,
Yeah.
that's what he would have wanted anyway. So
Yeah.
regardless, right?"
Yeah.
So, people who, they want the science and they want the empirical evidence and stuff like that. That's fine. I'm totally for science. But sometimes you just got to suspend that and just say, you know what, like, that's a beautiful dream. It could be real. We don't know. We
Mhm.
can't say, right?
Mhm.
Because again, our tiny brains cannot grasp that concept because
Mhm.
it's not, so tangible. Now, for me, I do not want the appearance in the daytime. You can come to me in my dreams, but I really don't want to see a ghost.
Right.
Don't come and have tea with me. You're gonna scare the crap out of me. It's okay to come in my dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so one thing you mentioned was like past lives. But anyway, it did trigger a dream that I had recently. It was extremely traumatizing, like very
Oh
traumatizing.
no.
And I was basically, I won't go into the gory details, but I was basically an Amish Mennonite, some weird sort of uh, religious cult, right? That was extreme. It was an extremist cult. And
Not to say that there's anything wrong with Amish and Mennonites,
no,
but if it's extreme, then
yeah,
if
if it's an
yeah.
extreme version of it, then I will come out and say there's something wrong with it. And that's what this dream was. This dream was I was in this horrid, like, think of the that scandal. What was his name? Jeffers. He had that. He
The
had all
multiple.
those girls, young.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that was my dream. Okay,
Oh.
I was in that, but in a time before that. So like the sort of Mormon type stuff, right? And it was like absolutely horrible. It was just horrible. And when I woke up, my first thought was that was um, ancestors talking to me. That was my women ancestors talking to me from this is where we were. This is what we had to endure.
Mhm.
And um, this is how we do generational healing. And that's
Mhm.
what I knew this dream was. It was them speaking to me about um, like misogyny and sexual assault and all these things that women are so traumatized by. And it
Mhm.
was a generational trauma that was told to me in a dream. And when I woke up, I mean, I was horrified by this dream. Every time I tell Katie my dream, she's just like, she just shakes her head like, how how does your brain even work, right? Because I just have these dreams, like these bad dreams all the time. But when I woke up, I just felt this um, pride to be a woman. Like I felt
Mhm.
proud to be a woman. I felt sad for women,
Mhm.
and that trauma that we
Mhm.
still carry. And so it shifted something inside of me that made me truly understand what generational trauma is, what
Mhm.
gender trauma is. Like I just
Mhm.
had this very clear understanding,
Mhm.
and it just made me more connected to women and the the divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a horrible, bad dream,
Mm-hmm.
but good came out of it.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? In
Yeah.
some sense, like it just helped me see what weight I'm carrying, even though I knew it logically, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it in my heart as
Yeah.
much until that dream. And and that's why when I say I have nightmares, like I always think they're nightmares at the time, like they're horrible and they're nightmares. But when I wake up and start analyzing them,
Mm-hmm.
then no dream is a bad dream.
Wow.
All dreams are
That's
good
amazing. I
dreams.
love that. That's a
Yeah.
great
I
message
mean,
for people.
it's shitty to dream it, but if you just sort of um, just break it down, and allow it to speak to you when you wake up, just
Mm-hmm.
allow it. And if you're afraid for a little while, that's just wait. Like things will start coming to you as to what this really means or what you need to learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so whenever I have a bad dream now, I just let it happen. I
Mm.
don't try to stop it now because
Yeah.
I know that something is being told to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. What other subjects did I want to bring up about?
I mean, it'd be nice if I had good dreams though. Like,
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yikes. Yeah, because like sometimes I've woken up like in sheer terror, like, and so I would try to get back to sleep, but that same dream or like a slightly different version
yeah,
would just come back because obviously from, what you're saying is I'm not getting that message, so it's going to come back whether I like it or not. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. My other favorite thing to think about is what did ancient people dream about? Because their world was so small, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was their village, their community, and people didn't usually tend to travel all that much or have different experiences. Certainly they didn't have TV and social media like we have to haunt us. So what would they have dreamt about?
survival,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, probably had a lot of nightmares about being chased by saber-toothed tigers and stuff like that.
Yeah, 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 not being warm, not,
But you hear about, some of the cave paintings that they've found, in
yeah,
France and things like that. And, some of it looks like dreamscapes that
yeah,
they've, like mythological creatures and,
yeah,
kind of really cool
yeah,
things. So, maybe they were trying to make sense of what they were dreaming about
yeah,
too.
yeah. Well, sometimes, like you look at a cat and their paws are going and they're yakking and it's like,
Yeah.
what could you possibly be dreaming about? Like
I know.
birds, food, I don't know, but sleeping. Are you dreaming about sleeping?
Because that's all you do.
Yeah. 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 So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about that too. Like, if life wasn't so complicated, what
Mm-hmm.
kind of dreams would we have? Would we be less bogged down by life dreams and more open to the spiritual dreams?
Yeah, because, you all through, history, there's been, prophetic dreamers and, people who were revered for their prophetic powers. And part of it came from, they would tell a dream that they had, and then, that dream would come true, or that dream would guide people. Because wasn't it one of the great North American Indian leaders, Geronimo, had a seer, a woman, and she would tell him where to hide and where to go and where the cavalry was going to be coming from, and she would dream it.
Yeah.
And it was because of her that he was so successful in leading his people away and escaping until things caught up with him. But um, I always like really found that fascinating because I always just wanted to be somebody who, had these prophetic dreams, but alas. But maybe if I was quieter, maybe if my world was smaller, or I, did more shamanic work or something,
Yeah.
maybe so. But, we're so, for me, being vulnerable in my sleep is scary enough, right? Like you're holding on to things, and you have a lot of, the dark, afraid of the dark, or you're afraid of the intruder that could come into your bedroom or whatever. So you wonder, if you did more work, would you be able to access more?
Yeah. I mean, years ago, when I was doing definitely more work that way, like with a friend of mine, like we would do like sweat lodges and we would do, um, like shamanic work together. And I found that when I did do that stuff, my dreams were more spiritual
Mm.
rather than psychological. They were definitely more spiritual, and um, and I often think back to those times and think like I really need to get back into that again. And also back then, like I used to smoke weed, right? So I was definitely more open. My mind was more open to that stuff because of the weed. Um, and like just smoking weed with Tom, like I would just lie outside and look at the stars or whatever and just
Oh.
be on a complete like journey, right?
Mm.
But then then something happened that suddenly the weed just made me completely like anxious and paranoid, and then I was like I can't do this anymore. It's just
Mm.
messing me up too much.
Mm.
So yeah, so I try it off and on again since then, and it would still do the same thing. It would make my heart beat fast, and I would get like anxious, and so I was like, it's not worth it, right?
Right. Well, that's your body's way of saying, hey, don't do it.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
whatever reason,
yeah,
maybe the stuff is, laced with other stuff and not pure. And
yeah,
maybe if you
exactly.
grew your own, it might be different, but.
Maybe. I thought of that because
Mm.
back in the 80s when I used to smoke, and we would sit around and have some, and it was just fun. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't the stuff like we had like when Tom and I would smoke it in the mid 90s. It started getting really potent, and him
Yeah.
too. He couldn't do it anymore either.
Wow.
So, but I kind of miss that in a way because it did allow my brain to just chill, just
Yes.
just chill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it
Your brain needs it. Your brain, your brain needs to chill.
it does need to chill. I know that for sure. So
I,
I think maybe what I need to do is find new ways to do that, like to use like say mugwort or
mm.
some more um, gentle herbs to do that shamanic journeying and the dream time journeys and stuff like that.
Yeah, that might be worth looking into. I know, like my friend that I mentioned that does the therapies, she does them in a controlled group. So there's like the person who monitors you and you know make sure that you're not taking too much or whatever. So it's in a very controlled environment because you wouldn't want to do some of those more potent hallucinogenics by yourself because God knows. I remember when magic mushrooms were the big thing back in the 80s.
Yeah.
uh, I did it once and it's like made my heart race and I was freaking out and so
Yeah.
I never wanted to do it again. So I probably still have that in my head. Like I don't want to do hallucinogenics because, I
Yeah.
freak out or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it would be better to do it in a controlled environment where people knew exactly what dose to give you and stuff like that.
Yeah. I also feel, well, I mean, plants are there for a reason too. And if there's plants that do that, because cultures all around the world take hallucinogens.
Oh, ayahuasca and peyote and
Yeah.
like it was
Yeah.
ceremonial though. It wasn't
Yeah.
done. you didn't abuse it.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
done for journeying, right, into
Yeah,
answers to things and to
yeah,
open you up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you know Carlos Castaneda? Have you heard of any of his books?
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, he was big in the 70s. Um, but I had read quite a few of his books. His books, his spiritual books, taught me how to lucid dream.
Mm.
Do you lucid dream? Like, do you have control over your dreams?
I have, but I wouldn't say like uh, I set out to do that. Sometimes I have to take control of my dreams, but I know what lucid dreaming is. I just don't know that I've done it start to finish.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, the so if in case people don't know what lucid dreaming is, it's you are sort of in that in between state. You're kind of awake and you're dreaming, but you're also kind of awake, so you're conscious of your dream. And when you're conscious of your dream, then you can sort of manipulate it to go the direction you want it to go. And I think that, like the elevator dreams, that's kind of what happens now for me. It's like, oh, okay, the elevator. Here we go again, the elevator dream, right?
Yeah.
And then I can kind of manipulate the elevator to go where I want to after not panicking that it's going sideways or dropping or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but to do it from start to finish, like you're going into a dream knowing that you're going to control it. It's kind of like journeying, but you're semi not in control, but you're also in control. But one of the big things to train yourself to learn how to lucid dream in his book was to um, when you're lying in bed at night and your eyes are closed, is to picture your hands because
Right. I've heard of that. Yeah.
yeah, because that's what you see the most. You don't really see your face the most. You don't see any other part of your body the most. It's your hands. So when you close your eyes and you look at your hands and you turn them over and then you train your brain to sort of visualize holding an apple and then you're looking at the apple and then you smell it and then you take a bite of it and so that's how you train your brain to lucid dream
Mm.
and so I used to do that quite a bit back in the day and it does work like it's really good training.
Mm.
I find that now my brain is I have a harder time sort of controlling focusing
Mm.
um, when I'm falling asleep because I just like fall asleep. I used to not fall asleep right away. It used to take me
Mm.
a long time to fall asleep, but now I fall asleep right away pretty much. But then I wake up 3 in the morning and I'm awake for so I
Mm.
still don't get good sleep, but it's different now. So now I don't have that opportunity to sort of manipulate my or do lucid
Mm.
dreaming because I'm sleeping, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's the menopause brain. I can have sometimes dreams within dreams,
Oh yeah.
and that freaks me out. It's so fun. I love it. So, you're dreaming, and then in that dream, that person that you are is having a dream.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And so that leads me to, who are you in your dreams? Are you always you? Or are you like, I wonder about, like, because I'm not looking in a mirror, like, who, so that's interesting about looking at your hands or trying to look at yourself, because when I was younger, I in my dreams I was always a little boy. I was
Okay.
always a boy in my dreams. It wasn't until maybe I was like 9 or 10 I started dreaming as a girl.
Oh.
Probably around the time that I met you. But before that, like, I used to wonder if there was something wrong with me
Huh.
because I was always this little boy. And so I wondered if I wasn't reliving like a past life,
Yeah.
right? So I think that at certain stages in your life, you can relive a past life when you were that age. So I think when I was that age, I was reliving some memories or just dreaming about this little boy having adventures or whatever. And sometimes when I start to wake up, you're like half awake, half asleep, I see someone there.
Oh yeah.
And like I'll swipe my pillow at them because I think there's somebody there, like like this, right? There's somebody there.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it was someone from my dream, and I'm I'm kind of still seeing them where I saw
Yeah.
them in my dream. Now I'm kind of seeing them.
Yeah.
And it used to freak me out because I didn't know if it was a ghost or what it was. But I do think that it's just somebody from my dream and I'm almost still seeing them. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. Yeah. I've had like the visual thing like that where I still see what's happening in my dream with my eyes open, awake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had like auditory things happen. I don't know how many times I got woken up by a strong male voice
Mm,
saying just my name,
mm.
Patricia, like loudly and like so I when that happens to me, I always think I always wake up, God, is it
I know.
like was
I'm ready. Take me.
are, are you talking to me? But it's just like my name really, really strongly. I'm not. I'm awake, but I'm still dreaming or something, and it's not even a part of a dream. It's just some strong male voice saying my name, and or sometimes I'll hear like gunshots.
That's brutal. Ay, ay, ay.
I know. Look, when I was premenopause, the week before my period would start, I would have violent, bloody dreams because it was my body telling me your period's going to start. So
I
I
don't
would,
need that message to know. Can you
right?
have a gentler
Yeah,
way?
yeah. No, it would be like I would have dreams of murder. Oh yeah, I would kill people. People would kill me. Have you ever died in a dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. And have you gone to the other side in the dream?
No, I think I'm too scared after that. I think like I kind of stopped the dream or I try to switch it or something. Yeah, no. Have you?
Yeah,
Oh God.
yeah, yeah. I have. I've been killed a few times in my dreams, and I've also I think I died once of an illness. I can't remember, but I remember one where I died, and then I was. It was a very strange. So I don't know what this even means, but I was in a school afterwards, and we had uniforms, like almost like a private school, but it was a spiritual, like your afterlife school.
Oh
So
God. That's
yeah,
a nightmare.
right. So you had to like learn all how to be in the afterlife in this school.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, and I've had another one where I died and I was in the hospital. I think that was the illness one. I died and I was walking around the hospital and I saw Tom and Alicia there. And I was trying to talk to them, but I couldn't because I was dead. Yeah. So, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
awesome. Oh God. You got to take it to the extreme, don't you?
I'll tell you one good dream I had that I remember that I really I thought was absolutely such a spiritual experience. I was walking through like woods, but they weren't like North American woods. They were almost like, I don't know, maybe Brazil or some sort of tropical type woods. And all around me were these floating were these fluttering butterflies, but they were luminescent. Like they were like almost like lit up blues and greens. And then I had like a butterfly land on me. And then there was dragonflies, and they were lit up. Like everything had like a halo, like an aura, and they would the things would just land on me, and it was just like absolutely beautiful. And then suddenly I realized that I could dance with the energy of this whatever this place was. So I started dancing, and I was just moving my body and my hands. And then like when I was moving my hands, I could see like energy in my hands.
Mm.
And I was like creating these lights and balls of energy. And then I put an intention into it. What is this ball going to be? And then suddenly I would just create stuff out of nothing. I would just create, like, I don't know, a book, or do you know what I mean? I was just
Mm.
pulling strands from this place that I was in, and I was just manipulating it and creating beautiful things with it.
Wow.
And that dream just always stayed with me. And whenever I
Mm.
feel like when I'm in the woods here or something, that dream always comes to mind. And I'm always like, I
Uh,
just I just want to pull stuff and work with this energy. But yeah.
yeah. When you were talking about healing ancestral trauma, I thought about doing a drumming in your woods dedicated to that.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of what came to me when you were saying that. Because when we drummed in your woods, which did we do a video on that? No,
No.
no, I think we just maybe posted some pictures,
Yeah.
clips. Um, yeah, I told you at the time I felt like your woods were like, yes, come and do that again.
Yeah.
Just see like happy fairy dances. Um, when you said about hearing the voice, and I have heard my name called in my dreams, it's also kind of weird. But I used to hear a phone ringing,
Okay.
and it'd be so I knew it wasn't actually a phone ringing because no one's phone rings anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like
Yeah.
an old fashioned telephone ring.
Yeah.
And so I would know that it wasn't really a phone ringing, but I would think, it's like, is that you, God? Like, hello? Suzanne, this is God calling. You've been a bad girl, better change your ways. Uh,
That's
but
fun.
like then spiritual people would tell you, that's a message, angels trying to get your attention or whatever. But it makes me think of mom, because mom was always the telephone, right? Like 6 o'clock my phone would ring because the rates were cheaper after 6 for people who remember what
Yeah.
landline phones were like. So after 6, or she'd say, now you call, ring once and then hang up and I'll know it's you and then I'll call you, because she didn't want me to have to pay for the call, right?
You're right.
So when I hear a ringing phone, I think about mom. So maybe that is just a little way of getting my attention and saying, thinking about you.
Yeah. I I think so. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely, yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you believe that like your mom, have you had dreams of your mom?
Yeah, so I dream that she's here, but there's something not quite right about her,
Yeah.
right? So, she's still got a bit of dementia, or like I can't quite communicate with her very well, right?
Right.
And then, I'll dream about dad, and it's kind of the same thing. He's kind of a little bit faded, like not quite all the way there.
Hmm.
So, you know, I think that that's, you know, because we can't really know what they look like over there on the other side,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it is kind of like a little jumbled, or a little, it's like your TV is snowy or something, like the
Hmm.
reception's not great.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
do
I'm,
you do you believe that they're actually coming to you, or are you thinking that it's just a psychological processing?
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that, to tell you the truth, because, you know, some of it might kind of be wishful thinking, because I dream a lot about the house in St. Peter's. Like, I dream about places that I've lived, because
Yeah,
we moved around a bit with dad in the military. But I dream a lot about the house in St. Peter's. And the other night I dreamt that I was trying to gather up all the stuff that I wanted to take out of the house before I had to close the house up, which actually happened. But
yeah,
I dreamt that I went back and I was stuffing all these things into bag. Oh, I want that. I want that. Like, just trying to gather. It's like gathering all your memories. Like, I don't want to forget. I don't.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it makes me a little emotional, because, that's where all my memories are tied up, in that house.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, life goes on, right? And Alicia wants you to live a good life, and my sister's husband wants her to live a good life, and my parents want me to have a good life. But you can't you can't help but have those moments where you miss them and you're sad.
of course.
Well,
Yeah.
especially for you, that's totally on another level. But
Well, I find that um, when you dream about them, the ones that passed, like, um, oh my God, like at the beginning when Alicia would come visit me, it would be like grieving her all over again. You
mm,
know what I mean? Because in
mm,
my dream, like uh, I knew I knew I had this very short period of time in my dream, right? And there's my daughter, and I hadn't seen her in so long. And I just want to hug her. I just want to just love her. And so I know my dream that that's what's happening, and I have a short period to do that. And then I'll wake up, and the grief would just start all over again. It would just be
mm,
so intense.
mm,
And but I'm finding now I still have that, um, sometimes those dreams. But the last couple dreams I had of Alicia, where she's come, where I didn't have that sense of, oh my God, I gotta like, just whatever, hold on to this moment so strongly. It was more like, oh, I'm with her. We're having a nice time. We're just
mm,
we're just being together. And then I wake up and I feel um sad, but also happy at the same time.
mm.
Or,
Yeah.
yeah, thankful, I guess.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always felt thankful, but then the grief was too strong, right? It would
Yeah.
just overtake.
Yeah.
But now it's more of a happier thankful, I guess now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I believe that they come to visit you in dreams because you allow it to happen. Because like you said, if your mom suddenly appeared in front of you right now, you'd be freaked out. And I think they know that, right? So they know
Yeah.
they know that they can talk to you in dreams.
Yeah.
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 Because yeah, if I saw Alicia, there was one time I was driving in a car with Katie and I looked in the rear view mirror and I swear to God Alicia was in the back seat.
Oh,
And I was partly freaked out. I was like thinking I was losing my mind, but also like a little scared because it was just so jarring. And then when I
mm.
looked again, she wasn't there. So I was like,
Mirrors are freaky.
what's that?
Mirrors are
Oh,
freaky.
mirrors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we should do an episode on portals.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I know we have so much we could talk about, but
Yeah.
anyway, do you feel like we're done for today?
I, I think so. I think I covered everything. Yeah. I think well, I wouldn't know. It's on my phone, my notes. So,
I love that. Notes are on your phone, but yet you record on your phone.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, okay. So I guess that'll be it. I'll put my little imaginary leprechaun lid on my little leprechaun cauldron here.
I love it.
Yeah.
There, I'll put one on mine too. My little tiny one.
Yeah.
Oh, and this cauldron, my girlfriend Lynn Marie made that for me. Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh yeah.
That's the divine feminine there.
Yeah.
The little cauldron.
Oh, cool.
Everything.
She made that? Is she a potter?
She does it like one of her hobbies. Yeah. I've got quite a few of her pieces. Yeah, I'd love to take a class sometime. So many things I want to do when I retire. Anyway, thanks everyone for being with us. I hope that you found some things that resonated with you. And as always, we'd love to hear your comments and your experiences as well. And we look forward to our next podcast.
Yeah. And just remember, dreams are really important. They're important psychologically and spiritually. So don't be afraid of them.
Thank you, Trish. I really appreciated that message. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.